5:30. It's probably the biggest event that you have over here. It's not the biggest event in the world because the World Cup is the biggest event in the world. But basically, it is.
Olympics.
What's that? Yeah, the World Cup. Because the Olympics is spread over
winter
a term. Yeah, but I guess you could say the same thing about the World Cup, though.
World Cup is amazing
Because the World Cup goes on for 3 or 4 weeks, but a lot of countries get into it, especially them South Americans. But basically, what we are going to talk about is we're going to focus on the Super Bowl. There's a lot of run up that goes up to the Super Bowl. The first week they have like celebrations, if you want to. And this year, where is the Super Bowl?
Vegas.
It's in Vegas. What an absolutely wonderful location to have the Super Bowl.
I think tickets are about $8,000 minimum right now, and they're sold out.
Wow. Actually, I was talking to my wife the other day, and I was, my father was basically worked out to be a professional gambler. He was banned from 5 casinos because he was a mathematician, and he used to sort of play the numbers a little bit. And on the whole, sometimes he'd lose, sometimes he'd win. He went to Vegas with 30,000 one year and came back with over 175.
Say again?
He went with $30,000 and came back with over 175.
What does he play? Blackjack? Or what?
No, believe it or not, he was playing roulette.
Picks numbers based on.
He basically has his number. He would never tell me his numbers. He would never tell me his system because he said I hadn't got the self-management to walk away from the table when I'm winning. Because
That's how you get him.
And that's how you get him. He said if he's losing to a particular amount, he would walk away from the table. And then when he's winning and he gets to so much, he would walk away from the table. He said that's the biggest secret to gambling, to know when to walk away from the table.
I try to tell people that all the time. Like, dude, you're up $2-3 grand. Just go.
That's the time to walk.
And have a dinner, relax.
And that's what he used to do, in all fairness. He used to go to Vegas. He didn't actually pay for any rooms. Occasionally, they would give him a suite at the MGM, and he would give us the suites for us and the family when we used to go.
Yeah, I remember my mom was always like, isn't this nice to give everything for free to me? And I'm like, Mom, you have no idea.
Yeah, that's right. They're making their money. But yeah, there was a couple of places that he was banned from where they thought he was cheating, but he wasn't. Was he counting numbers? No, he was just friendly with some of the the guys that do the roulette. He would always tip them and everything, but he was just friendly with everybody. All the waitresses would give him drinks. I used to go down and sit next to him and try and work out what he was doing, and the girls would come up and give us free drinks. And it was just a good experience, actually. And my father passed in 2015, but I've got to tell you, I miss him every day. I never thought I'd sort of say that at the time, but look after your parents while they're alive. But I do miss the days when we used to go to Vegas as a family. I even said to my wife a couple of days ago, actually, I said, I just wish Dad was alive and we could all go to Vegas again.
I could take you to Vegas whenever you want to go.
Well, we got 4 old English sheepdogs now, and that's the problem. As soon as you get to the point where you've got old English sheepdogs or you've got pets, and it gets very difficult.
We can pay
you've got to massage it.
$250-300 to get them, their support animals. We can fly them. We can walk them in the casino.
Oh yeah,
I was at the Nugget maybe about 2 weeks ago, and I saw a Chihuahua walking with a lady.
Yeah, but we're talking an old English sheepdog that's 32 inches high. Walking 4 of them through MGM Grand is going to cause a bit of a scene.
Selling a miniature kangaroo, that's going to be my support animal, and I'm bringing it everywhere. Everywhere we go.
I lived in Australia. You do not want a kangaroo.
Come on, tell me how much fun that would be to be my support animal.
Yeah, they end up boxing you. They end up kicking you because they can be pretty.
They're aggressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, she said it was her support animal, and I was just watching her walk through the casino floor again.
God, I thought you meant a kangaroo.
No, it was like a little small little Yorkie. She was sitting at the blackjack table, and
wow. But anyway, so we've got the 49ers playing the Chiefs. Who do you think is going to win, Chase?
Niners if they're healthy.
Really?
Yeah, they're probably favored by 2 or 3 points right now.
I think the Chiefs. I quite fancy the Chiefs.
Well, the only thing that I have with the Chiefs is they're one of the worst tackling teams in the NFL, and they only have 1 receiver.
I don't know. The first thing, I'm just guessing because I like the name Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, isn't it?
I have not got I don't know nothing about the team.
Is
There's
it?
only one player that I know, which is the one that's dating Taylor Swift because I like Taylor Swift.
Who's that again?
Taylor Swift.
I don't know who that is.
You don't know who that
That's
is?
Travis Kelce's girlfriend.
That's the one.
Okay, got it.
Right. And basically, that's the only way I know him. I don't know any of them. I even asked you earlier on what position he played,
Tight end.
and I ain't got a clue what a tight end is. I mean,
I think that's why she's dating him.
well, she might enjoy that. I don't know.
Now, so what it is, it's like he's either a kind of a offensive lineman / receiver. So he blocks sometimes the larger guys, and he also will shift out into a receiver role and catch it.
Okay.
And the reason he's so famous is he's probably top 1 or 2 tight ends in the league.
Wow. But all I can say is I sort of enjoy the Super Bowl, I'll be honest with you. You know, I'm vegetarian, so wherever I go, it's difficult to eat because there's a lot of it's not vegetarian friendly is the best way to put it. But the truth of the matter is I think it's an American tradition, and I think it's an American tradition that needs to carry on. I think, we should all enjoy it because in this country there isn't much to, enjoy at times. We spend too much time arguing and being aggressive and
too much hate.
Everybody's right and everybody hates one another else, and let's all sort of be friendly. And,
we all want to agree. You're all right. You're all right.
So as I said, the Allegiant Station in Las Vegas. See, I didn't know that. That's actually pretty cool.
Oh, have you seen that stadium? It is absolutely cool. So
well, they had the Grand Prix in Vegas. That was a bit of a disaster, though.
It wasn't that bad.
I know some Formula One friends that
they were only upset the warm-up rounds.
Yeah,
because
they had to be cancelled because
they were sucking up the manholes.
The manholes were coming up. But if you really think about it, the attention to detail and the damage that could have caused to the cars.
Yeah, each car costs probably about a couple millions.
Yeah,
the tires alone are what, 65, 75 grand each, something like that.
So they should have got that right. To be perfectly honest. So as we sort of spoke about the Super Bowl, we're now going to basically go to something which I just can't understand why we're even going here at times, but we are going to go here. And it says, Trump braces for fraud trial verdict as allies pledge holy war against Taylor Swift. Why the heck is Taylor Swift even involved in this? Donald Trump is awaiting the outcome of his civil fraud trial in New York, where he stands accused of routinely inflating the value of Trump Organization assets between 2011 and 2021. In order to secure favorable loans and insurance deals from lenders. Now, you're a lender. Let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And I've done loans through you guys, but don't you send an appraiser out to value a property?
The only way we can get the actual value or comparison of what we can loan on is if we send an appraiser.
So let's just look at this first paragraph that I've said. So the appraiser's got to sign off on it somewhere, haven't they? To say the property's worth this amount of money. Mm-hmm. What I can't understand is on that Trump Tower that they say, he says it's 58 floors, but there's 10 floors missing.
Because they're not for sale or not for rent.
All right. But they're not there. The floors aren't there.
Well, isn't there always a floor missing in every hotel? Like a 13th or a 17th floor?
First I've heard of it.
Oh. So it used to be like...
But with him, there's 10 floors missing. He's always said it's like 68 floors or something, but there's 58. I know there's 10 floors missing.
I think what it is...
But what I can't understand is when they valued the property, because the fire department also questioned him about it. What I can't understand about it, was it ever appraised? Because it's... if you're an investor, and he's a property developer, so obviously he invests in real estate, if you get an appraiser to value a property, is that not something that an appraiser should pick up?
100%.
Because what you do is you value the property, then when you've got equity in the property, you will refinance it, you'll pull that money out, then you take that cash or that equity and you go buy your next property.
That's what we do. We bundle, and once it gets to 7%,
right. And then what I want to talk about is, I don't want to talk about the whole thing I'm not really going to get into the Trump thing, but what I want to talk about is a Rolling Stone quotes. Where is it? where they brought Taylor Swift into this, which is, to me, it's just nuts. I can't understand why they're bringing somebody from the music industry, into this. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Here it is.
Rolling Stone, is that a magazine?
Here it is. How Taylor Swift sent conservative media into meltdown. Here's a very helpful montage from the recount of Fox anchors losing their minds over who you know. Taylor Swift broke Fox News. Do you see that, Kay? If you keep scrolling down.
She's on the ballot, though?
Ooh.
Or not on the ballot, but what she has to do with this?
It's to do with the followers or something on social media. Apparently, she's got more followers, or they think that she's going to influence. A lot of the younger generation are, they've got these different podcasts, and that's the way they that's the way they communicate and get their news and such like. And what they're worried about is because Taylor Swift has such a strong following on social media that she's going to get all these younger generation people that haven't voted for the first time to get out there and vote. My honest opinion with all of this is, look, just get out there and vote. I'm not bothered whether you're a Democrat or whether you're a Republican or whatever you are. Get out there and vote. That's your right. We live in a free country.
I like the Green Party. Works for me.
Let's
get a third person.
Well, that's
Cuban. Start running. You can win.
Well, I don't know about that so much, but I personally think, I think in the UK, I think we have 14 parties.
How many?
We have about 14 parties. And what's interesting is people, but the problem is over here, you've got two parties. So you're either on one side of the scale or the other side of the scale, although we're all American. Mm-hmm. But what happens in the English Parliament is we still get the bickering and but what happens is, because you've got some of the little parties, like you've got the Scottish National Party, do you understand? You've got the Welsh National Party, all right?
So they're not considered to be English, or they're...
No, it's considered, it's the Houses of Parliament. It's considered...
But it's based on where those people are from.
All of them, but they all have their own parliaments as well.
So
but they can still, go to the Houses of Parliament. But what's interesting is if there's something that involves Scotland or Wales or anything, they still get a say in that. All right. For example,
Scotland or...
For example, Aberdeen is very oil rich. Okay. All right. Over the time, the English are benefited by that.
Of course.
All right. So Scotland has not voted to be independent as of yet, so they're still in the Houses of Commons, and that's and Wales don't want to go independent. Northern Ireland are not independent. Ireland is independent, but you've got Northern Ireland and something else, but they're all got seats in the Houses of Parliament. But because you've got so many different parties, there's more negotiating that goes on.
Sounds like chaos.
It really isn't. It really isn't.
So?
No, I don't. I think it's a much more... I think it's a much more open way to... obviously there's some things, and you see some things, you can go on to... what's it called? What's the channel you've got over here? And it's got...
BBC?
No. There's... C-SPAN.
C-SPAN, yeah.
Yeah, and they have British pictures of the Parliament, and you've got chaos sometimes in the House of, because you have the House of Commons and then you have the House of Lords.
Okay.
And if it's like Senate and Congress, just the same. But in the Houses of Commons, them are the people that are voted in. They're voted in by the people. All right. And basically, they're the ones that, puts things through, and then it's debated in the House of Lords as well. But on the whole, I feel don't get me wrong, we've still got the same problems in Europe as what we've got. Like, we're going to talk about a problem that we've got over there, with male misogyny, which I think has got worse. And also what's happening in Europe now, racialism is starting to really get an uptick throughout Europe. Yeah. It's not just America. I feel we've taken a step backwards.
14 different parties is absolutely.
Well, you've got the Green Party, you've got the Scottish National Party. That was just a guess, by the way, but let me see how. Whoops. Then you've got some independents.
So anyone can have a party.
There's 650 seats.
And it's divided equally or based on population?
They are.
Yeah.
But there's 650 seats.
And you're saying all these different countries are still under one country, and they all have a say-so.
Here we go. Look, you ready for this? Conservative, Labour, Scottish National Party, Independent, Liberal Democrats, Democratic Unionist Party, Sinn Féin, Plaid Cymru, the ALBA Party, Social Democratic and Labour Party, the Alliance, the Green Party. There's 3 vacant seats, and then the Speaker of the House. So you've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13, and 3 vacant at the moment. So
when do they vote for that?
When the election comes around.
So like November, like August.
Yeah, they don't really do special elections. If a seat becomes available, it becomes available. But I mean, when you look at what I've got in front of me, you've got Conservatives, which are the majority at the moment. Labour's 196. I would like it to go across to Labour. Scottish National Party, that's what I told about that. Not all of them, but some of them want Scottish independence. Independents, that represent any party. Liberal Democrats at one time had a bigger control on the House. They don't really have too much now. A recent party is the Democratic Unionist Party. Plaid Cymru is a Welsh party. Sinn Féin is an Irish party. ALBA Party, I've not got a clue. That's a relatively new party that's come through. Social Democratic and Labour Party. Some of these are shoot-offs because they've got disillusioned with, the way they do things. Green Party, I wish there was more on the Green Party side. There used to be. The Alliance Party, I've never heard of that. And then you get one Speaker of the House.
I'm trying to look up your party's worth, like how much sponsorship they have. They're all kind of similar except for the bottom 5 or 6. What are the different beliefs? Like, are they just mainly looking out for the Scottish or their certain selection?
Well, I think the Scottish National Party are obviously out there looking for
Scotland.
Yeah, for Scotland. And I'll be honest with you, if I had the choice where to retire, I would retire in Scotland every day of the week. The second place I'd retire would probably be Wales, where my family's from.
I'm probably gonna go to the Philippines, South Vietnam, South Korea, where it's cheap and I can get my dollar for.
I just love Scotland. Scotland's the most beautiful. You ever been to Scotland?
No, but I do want to go play some golf out there.
You need to go to Scotland. Go to Speyside, Cairngorms.
They have castles out there that have been there for.
No, they've been there for
BC time.
Well, no, not quite. 1100s. I mean, it's just amazing. But I mean, on here it's got Conservative Party is centre right to right. Labour Party is centre left.
Mm-hmm.
Conservative Scottish National Party is centre left. Liberal Democrat, centre to centre left. See all 12 rows. Let me see. No, there's nothing really. Oh, here we go. Democratic Unionists, right wing. That's interesting. These are new parties. I mean, the Conservative Party was started in 1834. Liberal Labour Party 1900. Scottish National Party 1934. Liberal Democrats 1988. Democratic Unionists 1971. Sinn Féin was
Most of them are after
1905. Yeah. Plaid Cymru 1925. Social Democratic Labour Party 1970. Alba Party 2021. That's why I hadn't heard of it. Green Party 1990. Alliance Party 1970. But it's it's interesting. But it's a much more, in some ways it's a more complicated,
It sounds like
you know,
it.
but I'll be honest with you, I think it's a more negotiable. The problem over here, you know,
Well, we only have two, and we're
yeah, but the problem is you've got no, it's like having a pivot. If you've got a pivot in between of a board, you're either on this side or you're on that side. The more parties you have, then the more,
less seesaw you can be.
right. And that's the problem that I feel over here. At the end of the day, we're all American. You know, how we get to the goal, and that's the problem. You know, we all end up throwing insults at everybody, and it really doesn't get us anywhere at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You
It
know,
should be whatever you
but,
think is right.
you
You
know,
should respect it.
so as we're throwing insults at people, let's get on to something that I brought up this morning actually, and that's
Oh, here how you go.
and you know, well, you know more about this guy, because I'll be honest with you, I hadn't heard about him. I'm not into the, you know, too much.
Oh, the social media king,
Yeah, well,
the
I
one
was watching
that
a show this morning, and it sort of, you know, it was brought up. It was a British program actually that I brought up on, and it was basically saying how culturally the world has changed. Now, whether this is because of, and this isn't a political statement, because of some of the lawsuits we've had over here, or some of the statements that, you know, Trump has made, or even other people that have been out there. One of the points that was brought up by this commentator on TV this morning was that, you know, 10 years ago, if I was bringing up my son, hopefully he'd be treating his girlfriend with respect,
yes,
and, you know, wouldn't say bad things because it, you know, it reflects on me as the father. But there's this guy called Andrew Tate. He became very, very famous for basically being a kickboxing champion, and apparently you was telling me he was a very, very good kickboxing
he's not
champion.
bad. 4-time world champion.
All right. Well, to me, that's an excellent kickboxing
He can
champion.
fight.
You know, and basically he's got his own podcast, and
He's got his own podcast, and he started his own university. And now I just learned this. It's called The Real World, but the Hustle University was like a membership you can pay for, and pretty much he just gives you a step by step of how you can be a better man
right,
throughout the day. Now,
right,
yeah, some of the statements he has are very downgrading women, but
right, and that's the point I wanted to bring up, because I feel that, are we educating our children to be in a position when we're downgrading girls? Because like some of the things he put on X were, girls don't want compliments from guys they don't like,
which is probably true.
right? They don't want to know what you think, even if it's complimentary. But is it something you should say? You understand? You know,
Well, I feel like those comments were taken after I read it. They're taken out of context.
You
What
know.
he's trying to say is be confident as a man.
but if he's a leader, and he's somebody that has a following, I think you need to lead by example, and I think that's my concern. You know,
Well, his example is to be a strong man. Be confident with yourself. Never go up to a girl you don't think you have a chance with, because that girl will take that lesser confident person and understand, like, I don't want to be with them at all.
Well,
But if you go there with confidence, you definitely give yourself a better chance.
I disagree with that. I asked my wife to date me for 4 or 5, 6 times, and gradually she gave in.
Well, that's
And I'm
terrible.
That's not terrible. That's romantic.
No, it's not. It's just that she was testing me. That's what I felt.
When I
I'm
say
still
no,
with
I say no,
I'm
leave
still
me
I'm still I'm still with her 23 years later.
Well, that's also
And
romantic.
she's she's a great wife, to be perfectly honest. And it's like one of the other comments he made is, you're not made. I wasn't. What's the word? I wasn't.
Courting her?
No. What's the word when you're? Oh God, I'm lost for words. What's the word when you're making yourself a nuisance?
annoying her.
A
No,
bother?
no. What's the official
Oh,
word for it?
harassing
Her,
her?
not harassing her.
Stephen was harassing his wife.
No, come on, help me out here, guys. Help me out. What's it called? Not harassing. There's an official term for it when you
I would say you're a bother.
hawk, like
Like a prey?
Catcalling?
no.
We don't know, Steven.
Okay, well, anyway, I wasn't getting to the point where I was a complete nuisance. I mean, I wasn't going out my way to follow her and do all that stuff. That wasn't the case. And then, it says your entire life is void, which I don't agree with. You could die and the woman wouldn't care. So why does she care? Well, I disagree with that as well.
Well, if she
I
doesn't know
think,
you, why would she care?
well, yeah, but if you've got a relationship with somebody, that's not the case. You affect a lot of people. And actually, I was discussing this with my wife yesterday. I said, you know what? If you was to pass, I wouldn't know what to do. I really wouldn't know how to handle everything because she's just very strong,
She's your rock.
you know. Um,
You're very lucky to have her.
and just think it is degrading women, and I think it's something that we need to do. And I think what's happened and the way the society has grown for different leaders that have been there, I think we should respect one another. We should respect one another's cultures. We should respect one another's. I was reading something the other day when an entitled Karen is the best way to put it. Used the N word, and I don't think that is the way that you respect somebody. One of
At
the,
all.
um, um, but I just think, this guy is an influencer. I'd like to think that, this whole thing about being strong and, I, I'm not really into that because I feel that if you're strong, it's mentally you should be more strong
Yeah.
than,
Then
Someone said
but because
pester. Were you looking for the word pester?
no.
pestered, no, that is sort of more to
Who
what I
said
was
that?
looking for. But basically, what do you call it? That you file it with the police. Stalking. There you go. I didn't stalk her when I was.
It's not the word you were looking for. No
Stalk.
way that was
But I
the
didn't
word.
want you to think. I didn't want you to think I was stalking her. But basically, the truth of the matter is,
I
she
was just
wouldn't.
following her everywhere, but I was not stalking.
No, I wasn't stalking her. We would turn up in a particular place, and what happened was, I kept saying to her, "Come on, let me take you out for a coffee. Let me do this, da da." And she turned, and she gradually gave up, and she said, "You know what? Let me take you." She said, "I'll play tennis. Do you play tennis?" And I said, "You know what? I'm the best at tennis. I'm gonna beat your ass." I'd never played tennis in my life, and we played tennis. We went to play tennis. She hit me all over the course. She
She went
ended,
left,
she,
right the whole time if you ran.
and then she ended up laughing so much. She said, "I guess you're not a bad guy after all."
Yeah, because you gave
And
her
then we
all.
and then we started dating.
That's fun.
So, as I said, there was a bit of fun in there, but I'm not into this. You've got to prove how strong you are. To me, that shows insecurity. What do you think, Kay? As a woman, what do you think to that?
I think that it's one thing to, teach young men, and how to develop their confidence and things like that, if that's how you do it. But the way that he speaks about women is absurd.
Downgrading, yeah.
It is very, very misogynistic and it's horrible. You can teach someone how to be a strong individual and a confident man without, degrading women and,
I feel like
a lot of comments that
the
he said.
comments sometimes are taken, as like screenshots of the whole conversation. Because I've listened to a few of his podcasts. He's not really.
He doesn't do it anymore, though. Back in 2020 and 2021, he was way worse. But now he's definitely calmed down. Back when he was actually famous,
Prison will do that to you.
horrific. It was like the things that he was saying were absolutely outrageous.
But do you think he does? But do you think he does that? But do you think he does that for clicks?
Yes.
Of course.
And one of the things too is that he's around a different type of woman too. So it's like, you know.
Well, now he's got money.
I mean, he's had money for most of his like life. But what I mean is that, you know, the types of women that he's around, of course, like if they're already trying to date billionaires and, you know, I mean, if they're already gold diggers, of course they're going to behave a certain way rather than if you have someone who.
Will a woman date a guy that works at McDonald's? Will a woman date a guy that works at McDonald's? If that's their full-time job, would you date a guy that works at McDonald's?
I wouldn't, no.
But a guy will date someone that has no job.
It depends what the situation was.
Yeah,
Well,
but it depends on if they. It definitely depends on the situation. I have dated people who have worked at the supermarket and who have worked at McDonald's and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things is that when I was dating them, they got lazy. You know, typically people who.
So you made more money.
Yeah, so I made more money, and they were.
But there's a
more
difference.
lazy,
There's a difference with you though that I've got to say to your plus is you're a hardworking girl. You're a minimalist. Are you not?
Yeah.
But she really is out there, you know.
But that's why, like.
We're making it happen, really, and that's why I
So-
enjoy you on the podcast.
But what I mean, like, just in general, like with me working like office jobs or continually trying to better myself, I feel like a lot of men who work at McDonald's or who work certain jobs, they are comfortable in those positions. So that's
So what you're saying is they get too comfortable.
yeah. So like, you know, when they make less money, I think that with different women, can't use my fault. I have a mic, but I think that with different women, the way that, you know, if they don't have a job or things like that, I mean, yeah, men will date women who don't have jobs, but also that's to your discernment. Is she?
It's because we're the most romantic species there is.
But is she doing the things that you want? Like, if you want
Does
a
she make 'em happy?
housewife, yeah. Do you want someone who doesn't have
Sometimes
a
I would like to wake up and smile.
job?
Just smile.
That's
It's not hard.
But for me, like, whenever I date people, I tell them that I don't want to work. I would prefer to be a housewife. So that's just
Make it happen.
And yeah, so, you know, I of course will help you. I'll work to the point where, like, I want to work to the point where we are able to have a house, right? And I go in on the house. But after I have the house,
How do you pay for the house?
I don't want to work. Exactly. I'm not doing it. Like, I'll go in, I'll help you pay the mortgage, but once that thing is paid off, I'm out.
You gotta pay for taxes, insurance.
Let me tell you what.
They can figure that out.
Do you know what my biggest disappointment was with my wife? And she knows this.
Do you want to wait till we get off air for this?
No. She knows is the fact that she didn't want anything to do with my real estate business.
Wasn't she a
She's a dentist. I mean, she's a dentist, and now she teaches at one of the universities in Houston, and she teaches dentistry. And you know, but she wanted nothing to do with real estate, part-time, full-time, or otherwise. She says, "No, you just get on with it. You do it." But she 100% backed me on everything that she does. So, you know, for that you've got to be grateful. But regarding, I just brought up an article about this Tate guy. Let's call him the Tate. And this was an article that recently came out in The Guardian in England. It says, inside the violent, misogynic world of TikTok's new star. But apparently his clicks on TikTok were more than the Kardashians.
Well, he got pulled off of all that. Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, everything banned him.
Yeah, he got banned because I think a big part of Andrew Tate too is that unfortunately a lot of his audience is kind of middle schoolers, so they don't even have the development to, like, they haven't even had a chance to even go out on a date with a girl. You know, they haven't.
Well,
they're
they
still
ain't gonna have the
developing.
chance of getting out with the girl if they have that attitude.
Yeah,
I mean,
and that's what a huge problem is. There's a that, and that's what the
I
outrage
think if
is.
you're
There
a
was
confident
teacher,
man, you have a better chance of getting a date.
right? But
and I
a
agree with
lot.
that. I
I think it
agree.
was like
So I encourage that he's
68%,
making men confident.
but 68% of his audience is
But is he making men
people.
confident or is he making men arrogant over women? And to me, that's what he's
The
doing.
problem
I
is
wouldn't
that
say arrogant
68%
over
of his
women.
audience is middle schoolers. They are between the ages of 12 and like 19, which is, it makes it really hard because they don't have the development. Of course, like if you're an older man and you're looking, if you're an actual like man, if you're like a man, then yeah, look at that so that you can gain information on how to be more confident, how to develop yourself, you know, take a shower, get a haircut, you know, go to the store, you know, go out and talk to people. That makes sense. But when your audience is so much younger, there was a teacher who she was telling her students like, hey, you have to clean this up, and then students were like, no, you can't, like, you can't tell me what to do because I'm a man and I don't have to listen to you because you're a woman. And he
Not
was
just
saying
manners and politeness.
to-
That's
right, but they're learning that from Andrew Tate.
But that's what they're
I
learning.
don't
That's what
feel
they're-
like Andrew Tate is telling them.
That's what he said. That's literally what the kid said.
He said
that
the kid said it.
But
yeah,
but that's the
what
message that's coming across from people like
That's
Andrew
how they were
Tate.
viewing it. Okay. I don't feel like that was the actual message from Andrew Tate.
like, but that's what
How they were taking it.
That's how, yeah, he might not be saying that, but he's not taking the discernment to understand the fact that his audience is younger kids.
Mm.
So that's what a big problem is. He can say whatever he wants.
Well, in reality, they just want
But-
more clicks, right? Doesn't matter the age, right?
Yeah, it doesn't matter the age, but it's just, you know, it's he does have a responsibility though to understand, like, hey,
No, the parents of that child has responsibility.
that too.
Not him.
That
Yeah,
too.
but
the,
the-
You
parents
can
need
you
to
can
pay
post
attention to
on
what they're
you can
doing.
post pornos and do stuff like that, and if your children are watching it, it's the
That's
porno
your
fault.
problem.
No, yeah, it's the parents' problem for
That
letting
is
their kids
true.
watch.
But at
it.
the same time, he should take the opportunity to lead a better example on what he's doing.
I think that what he
Because
says,
if not, the one's fighting the other.
what he says is meant towards men who are probably in their early 20s, you know, maybe mid 30s, people who are trying to develop better relationships
I call
with
him.
people.
He's talking to 30K millionaires, guys who make 30K and want to be
Yeah,
millionaires, and they
those-
pretend and lie.
yeah. He's
That's
talking to
probably
those
the
guys.
most audience he has.
Yeah,
But
but
that's not his fault. His fault is only not getting enough clicks. That's what he wants to do.
yeah,
Like
and
Howard
how-
Stern, same thing.
That's true. Back in 2020, 2021, it was so bad. Like, it was so bad. Now he's definitely calmed down because I think he's made enough money from it, let's be honest. Like, he doesn't need the money the revenue that he was getting, and
Yeah, he's rich.
It was-
Where's the thing from Romania? Is that still going on? Has he?
So he's still on, like, I guess it would call house arrest. He's been
Yeah.
out for 3 months.
Okay. And
Um,
what are they accusing him of?
They're accusing him of
Trafficking?
more. I think just like a party where maybe he slept with underage girls, and then the 4 victims that said that were identified in the case have all came out and said they did not feel victimized at all. 2 have went into hiding because of how much online I guess
Abuse.
threats or negativity. But I've been trying, like while we've been talking, trying to find more information on that. But he's out, but he's still doing his podcast. I saw it yesterday.
I have this video. This is a guy who he basically tries to copy Andrew Tate. If you guys want to watch it, I can't show it.
What is it?
It's on. I just sent it on Discord. But he does the same thing and like exactly the same. He met Andrew Tate and he basically tried to follow his archetype. And they said some, they say some crazy things, and these are the kids that kind of idolize them. I mean, I think this guy is much worse than Andrew Tate. He also makes less money, but he's still like.
Well, Andrew Tate's Hustle University, was almost sold out. Like, I think it was like $50 for a membership or something like that. And within like a year, he was making millions off that alone.
It makes sense. I mean, I think when you first started coming to the podcast, we talked about the male loneliness epidemic, because that is a true thing. Because a lot of men don't know how to approach women. And I think also the pandemic
It's because of
made
the
people
phones.
so sheltered. Yeah. They have no idea how to talk to people. And even women get upset now for some weird reason if a man approaches them and they're like, don't ever talk to me. And it's like, well, how do you expect to meet somebody? Like, that doesn't make any sense. So on both ends there is a problem. But I just think that Andrew Tate's kind of like you said, they want to be millionaires, and his content definitely preys on those types of people. There are certain people who are like you, Chase, who you
Well,
can
they're called influencers for a reason.
Yeah,
Right.
1000%.
And but there are people like Chase who you can take it and you can take it with a grain of salt, and you can understand, like, I mean, you're already married, you have kids, everything. It's like, that's, you already know how to talk to women, but there are also
Sorry, I still don't know how to
huge
talk to women.
portion of his
Well,
audience.
but I would rather. I don't believe in. When I read something like that online, I don't want my kids to even, understand. I would feel bad if my kids were brought up with that ideology.
Yeah, with that consistent ideology.
I would.
And then my daughter is, and on the other,
You shouldn't.
and on the other side as well, I wouldn't feel happy if my daughter was just dating a guy because just they wanted a rich guy,
Yeah.
because that's, the other side as well.
Yeah.
And, the answer to your question is, would I date somebody from McDonald's? The truth of the matter is, I would if they felt there was a connection, because to me, if you ever get married to somebody, it's a life journey.
Oh no, I agree.
And I believe,
that works at McDonald's,
and
but a woman would.
I believe that as long as you're determined, like if you want to get out of McDonald's,
if you feel,
but you got to get out of it. Because there was a guy when I was in high
all right,
school.
hold on, let me tell you something. Okay, would you work at Chick-fil-A?
Would I work at Chick-fil-A?
Would you date a guy at Chick-fil-A?
If he had the determination to get out of it, I would have.
No, Chick-fil-A have a system where if you work at Chick-fil-A and you're on there, you can own your own
4 years,
Chick-fil-A.
then general manager 4
Yeah.
years, then you have
For
a
$10,000.
chance to buy in for $10,000, and you have to pick whatever
Or-
location they take to.
Correct.
That's what I was. There was a guy in high school. His whole goal, he was like, they were like, "What do you want to be?" And everybody was like, "I want to be this. I want to be that." And then he was like, "I want to be a general manager at Bill Miller's Barbecue."
That's cool.
And that I was like, that's perfectly fine. The teacher was so upset. They were like, you don't want anything else? And he's like, no, like, I'm comfortable. I want to do that. That's a decent living. He's like, I don't.
Sometimes life quality is more important than money.
Yeah, he's just like, I don't want. So I'm like, that's fine. Like, to me, that's fine. But I don't want to date a cashier for. If you're comfortable being a cashier, I can't.
When my wife was,
Because I want to do something better.
Yeah.
when my wife was a
That's fine.
dentist, one of the kids, he must have been 14, 15. She just got talking with him. What do you want to do? Da, 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 da. Anyway, he was going through school. He got through school and he got a part-time job at Chick-fil-A. And he started to work at a Chick-fil-A. Have a guess what he's doing now?
He owns a Chick-fil-A.
He owns a Chick-fil-A.
And he's
The one in
making
Stafford.
like 2, 3. Well, the one in Stafford, the one they had to do 2 of them on Highway 6, or the one on Mo City.
No, in Stafford.
It's on Murphy.
No, it's further up towards 59. Is it West Airport? I always get them mixed up. West Airport, West Belford.
Yeah, right there by the Walmart.
Yeah.
I know exactly where you're at.
Yeah,
Do you know that
he owns that one.
the Chick-fil-A on Highway 6 and 59, they had to move across the street, and they kept the first one. Now they have 2 Chick-fil-A's directly across the street from each other because they're so busy.
Unbelievable.
That is crazy.
The dude that got that franchise was like from Seattle or Washington or Oregon, went to college in Michigan or somewhere like that, and then he got that location, had to move down
Yeah, well,
here.
it's a very small percentage of the people that want to be owners, but the opportunity is there.
You can't be
You've
an
got to
owner of
prove
Chick-fil-A
yourself.
unless you go through that general manager program.
Correct.
That makes sense. It's like Whataburger. You got to go to Whataburger University to work at Whataburger. It's literally a
You have to put up your own money.
Whataburger has this like off-site menu because I'm fat. I know every sandwich on that off-site menu.
Do you eat Lancionaires
Yes, of
from
course.
McDonald's? That's disgusting.
What is it?
Tell me what a Lancionaire is.
You gotta try it once. It's not that
What
bad.
is what is it?
Tell me what it is. A Lancionaire from McDonald's.
Just Google it. You've never had it?
No, tell me what it is.
Disgusting.
It's just a nice, delicious sandwich.
No, it is not. It's like 3 sandwiches.
It's the fish, the burger, and the chicken all stacked together. No cheese for me though.
Fish,
Chicken,
a
and
patty.
burger.
Yeah, so like a McDonald's
Think of a Big
cheeseburger.
Mac kind of, but don't put a cheese on it. No secret
Okay.
sauce. It's not that bad.
Okay.
And what's it called?
Lancier.
A Lancia.
Land, sea, and air.
Yeah.
Oh, land, sea, and air.
Lancier. But no cheese. You can't
No
get the cheese.
cheese.
No cheese.
Do they advertise that?
No.
No.
No,
and
same with the
honestly-
Whataburger off the menu. Like there's a off the menu Whataburger.
Oh my god.
Check what
I
I
think
just
it's
put. Check where I
the
just
Monterey
No,
patty
that's-
is absolutely amazing. at
That
Whataburger.
that's.
put here.
I actually might go eat one.
Hold
of
on.
those
The
ones.
land, sea, and air is from McDonald's.
Yeah, right here. You get it.
No, I'm not looking.
Well, I think they.
I've got a
yeah.
salad for lunch and I'm
See right there,
keeping
the
to
Big
it.
Mac. Yeah,
Yeah.
but no cheese, no secret sauce. You're good.
It's so horrible.
All right, let's move on. Let's move on. I think we're spoiled. Over.
I'm gonna bring this for you next week.
Do not.
No, I've got a
I'll
I've got
smack
a
it.
challenge from you when you got to eat something with one hand and then you've got to hold my steering wheel with the other.
I can do that. I do my knee though pretty well.
You know,
You don't like it for real? You have you had it or you just sound it says sounds nasty.
it's fast food. That's the problem.
What's wrong with fast food? Everything is fast food.
No, it's not. And it doesn't have to be.
I think the difference between fast food and a restaurant is
That's why
nicer
obesity.
seats.
That's why obesity in the United States is 2 in 3 people.
I wouldn't doubt that. That's why a salad costs $9 and a burger's $1.
Yeah, ludicrous. Anyway, let's talk about United States Postal Service.
Oh, this is a fun one.
So the United States Postal Service are basically experienced delays that they've never ever had before. Now, for nearly 2 months, Houston residents have endured shipping delays from the United States Postal Service. I've got to tell you, I feel sorry for these people, and the reason why I feel sorry for them is they need more people at the postal services. They've taken away all the exterior mailboxes.
I used to like when my mailbox
Their
was on
pension, I did too. Don't get me wrong,
did.
I do. But they've taken a lot of them away. I think the decline started when they put one of Trump's guys in to treat it like a business, which in all fairness it should be. What really deteriorated the United States Postal Service was when they changed the pension scheme, and it was making a profit, and that's what I could never understand. If it was making a profit, then and then when they started taking the pension schemes out, and they made them pay for their own pension schemes, it meant that the company wasn't contributing to their pension schemes, I guess. But basically, I actually know somebody who works at the United States Postal Service, and he was saying that they have an epidemic at the moment. Regular mail is taking between 5 and 7 days. North Houston facilities in the process of becoming the North Houston Regional Processing. And I think they've changed a lot of the infrastructure, if you want. The Missouri City facility has turned into the LPC as part of the changes. So they're going through a lot of changes. I personally like the United States Postal Service. I mean, they deliver mail to my house at 7 o'clock at night. And I think to myself, you've got a long day. They've always been very courteous to me. The United States Postal Service mission is to provide, and one of the things with the United States Postal Service that people do not understand is they deliver mail to rural areas that FedEx and the United Postal Service do not deliver to. So a lot of the rural areas, they'll deliver to, the rural areas. A lot of the elderly people that live in the rural areas for medications and stuff, they actually deliver them. My wife has Parkinson's disease, and they deliver her medications. So it's something that I think they've got to get through, but they've got to do something about it. Make it more reliable. But it's just sad to see when it's,
They hired 33 new workers. Do you think it's just a shortage of workers?
I do. What happened was, and I'm really not blaming Trump for this, but during 2016 and 20, they curtailed a lot of their services. And I think what they need to do is to be more customer service oriented. I don't think we need to run them, as a loss producing, but they do a lot in the rural areas, and that's where the hole is. They need to basically, hire a lot more people, and then
I don't think nobody wants to do it.
and
No
then
job. That's not a job that they,
and also I think what's happened is I think what's going to happen is Amazon is going to be more of a logistics company.
That's one.
And I think that's part of Jeff Bezos's thing, because they are a logistic. I mean, they've got fulfillment hubs, and then if you go to UPS announces 12,000 job cuts. So the United Postal Service, which is the brown trucks, have announced that they've got 12,000 job cuts, and says that the packages and volumes slipped last quarter. So
Let's see here.
it's a bit of a contradiction, really, if you think about it. The United States Postal Services are saying, so if they had an increase,
I mean, it's not
Do you
a
wanna
bad wage. They can make $73,000 a year. That's not a bad wage.
It's not.
That's average of the whole country, though.
Yeah. So,
They've hired 1,500 new employees in 2 weeks.
and that was after COVID, or
That's in the last 2 weeks. They hired 100,000 new employees.
are we talking about UPS, or are we talking about US?
Universal Postal, yeah, our U.S. Postal, the one that's behind everything right now. The UPS is the one who just laid
Oh,
off
okay, because I
12
was talking about the, okay, so you're
13,000
talking about United States Postal
yeah,
Service.
the actual one that's delaying all of our,
So
mail
they're hiring more people.
They've hired 100,000 employees in 2 years, which $73,000 is a decent income. I would say it's above average of most of my borrowers' single income.
Right.
I would say most. I would say more than probably 40 to 60%, somewhere in that range.
Right.
And then you see anyone's making over 100 grand to 150 grand. Usually the spouse doesn't work.
Right. And then let's move on. Let's talk about the UPS, which is the brown trucks.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're cutting their jobs by 12,000.
Mm-hmm.
And says package volume has slipped the last quarter.
I think that's exactly what you said about Amazon. They're taking over.
But what happened is, what's interesting is, I ordered something from Amazon last week, and the return labels were going through UPS.
Yeah, they use UPS. Amazon.
Don't they have like satellite kind of trucks too?
Yeah, so Amazon started using their own delivery company, but the tracking information
Is always UPS.
Yeah, and if you want to return something, it's always UPS. So it's interesting.
So that in itself is difficult to, but the earnings are down apparently as well on UPS. They was up at one time because I had stock in UPS, and their stock price was actually very affordable, and it did go up, and I sold it when it was up.
And you said it's because people are going back to shopping in person, Chase?
I would say that would be more common based on the COVID restrictions being lifted since then. I would feel maybe.
I think it's definitely a factor.
That's something.
Yeah, definitely a factor. Because she was saying that they increased their jobs before COVID or during COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're sort of laying them off because, people are going back out there. I've got to say, last weekend, I went to the Galleria. I had time from here, and I went to the Galleria, which is a local mall just up the street. And I was surprised the mall was freaking busy.
The Galleria
Busy of
is
window
one of
shoppers, in my opinion.
the
It
Galleria
was-
is one of the most popular malls in the United States.
The
I think
park,
there's a Galleria in almost any major city now, though.
No, but the Houston Galleria is literally, it's because you can run into celebrities there.
Really?
Yes, you can.
I ran into Deuce McAllister one time.
At the Galleria?
Yeah, and no one knew who he
When
was.
I went to Vegas, I ran into Michael Jackson.
Really?
Hmm
Was he nice?
He was actually. There's a famous shopping in Las Vegas. It's in the Venetian, and they've got like these big globes, and it's all crystal. And he was actually in there, and it just so happened that we stayed at the Venetian, and we had a tip that he was going to be there around this particular time, and then he comes with all his bouncers.
Oh.
So yeah.
I wish I would have saw Michael Jackson, Queen, in concert before they left. Also Jimi Hendrix, Pink, or
Pink Floyd.
Rain. What's his name again?
Prince.
Prince. That's what I want.
You guys gonna go see the new Bob Marley movie?
Yes, I've read his biography and I can't wait to see it. It's come out this week, right?
Yeah, but if you watch the movie, I think they should give you a free weed to
Of
smoke.
course. I think they should give you free weed no matter what movie you watch.
I think that movie theater is probably.
Can you imagine?
Wait. It's not out. It's actually, I think it's out on like Valentine's.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Because like
Can
you have
you-
Ash Wednesday on that day, you have Valentine's Day, you have Bob
Can
Marley
you
on that
imagine?
day.
Hey, as you go in to watch the Bob Marley movie, they give you like a piece of weed.
Mhm. That'd be great. It should come with your
Probably
ticket.
enjoy the movie.
AMC, go ahead and get the
How old are you? I'm 21. Okay, here's your weed.
Wait, you gotta be 21 to buy weed?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It's like cigarettes. You gotta be 21 to buy cigarettes now.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh wow. I don't know either. I don't smoke cigarettes.
I don't either. Or drink alcohol. So we good? Time to sign off? Okay, so please like, subscribe, turn on notifications. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to hear your comments. Please pass some comments, over the channel and the comments that we've made. We'd love to hear from you. So how do we get hold of you, Chase?
Call me 832-630-7467 or email me chase@lspmortgage.com. Any questions about mortgages or pre-approvals, let me know.
Yeah, but no dirty calls, please. So
Please.
just use his
Y'all are
number.
getting on my nerves, these voicemails. They're
Yeah, I
ridiculous.
mean, we don't want that. No grunting or anything like that on the phone. You can contact me through, just go to Google. You can put in Century 21 Olympian and you can contact me through that. One of my staff will answer you and give you my information, or you can contact me through social media at C21 Olympian TX. But we would love to hear from you. Please check in with us next week. As I said, we'd love to hear from you with your comments. Ta-da for now. See you later. Health, peace, prosperity to you all, and thumbs up.